Disney movies are some of the most paused movies out there, usually because eagle-eyed Easter egg hunters are keen to spot fun intentional inclusions by Disney's animators, such as characters from other movies making cameos in the background. However, quite often, pausing Disney movies at just the right time can result in an image Disney might not be so keen for you to see. Whether it's a character looking a little less attractive than they usually do, a situation being made to look inappropriate when taken out of context, or otherwise, there are some Disney movie screenshots that weren't meant to be seen when paused. This video will take a look at some entertaining examples of that. We hope you enjoy it, and make sure you subscribe to Screen Rant's YouTube channel to enjoy more like it in the future. Here are 10 paused Disney moments they don't want you to know about. And before we start, can you guess this movie from these emojis? Stay tuned for the answer at the end of our video.
Bring it on.
The Little Mermaid. In 1989's The Little Mermaid, the second time Ariel and Eric meet is when Eric discovers Ariel on a beach after she'd lost her voice. The first time they'd met, Ariel saved Eric from drowning and disappeared just as he regained consciousness. So in this second meeting, Eric only vaguely recognized her. Ariel's desperate attempts to communicate with Eric without her voice resulted in some very exaggerated hand gestures, which Eric seemed to join in with. If you pause the movie at just the right time, they don't look like Disney characters at all. The pair actually look more like members of The Sopranos. The Princess and the Frog. Like the aforementioned Flynn Rider, Charlotte LaBouffe from 2009's The Princess and the Frog was a very attractive character, in this case of course of the female variety. Disney's intentions were for the Southern Belle to be physically beautiful at all times, but a paused moment from one particular scene spoils that notion. It comes in the scene when Charlotte puts Tiana's tiara on her head in the bedroom. As Charlotte adjusts her top, her face for a mere moment looks absolutely ghastly and almost pig-like. Yikes.
Back into the fray. Wish me luck.
Toy Story 2. 1999's Toy Story 2 saw the introduction of some new talking toys that weren't in the first movie, one of them being the excitable Jessie.
Oh, Bullseye! We're part of a family again!
Buzz Lightyear immediately found himself attracted to the cowgirl and introduced himself to her in bumbling fashion. Jessie seemed impressed and immediately grabbed Buzz to tell him how sweet she thought he was. But if you pause that scene at a very specific moment, it looks as though she's drunk as hell, with Buzz looking on, concerned and unimpressed at her unladylike behavior.
Golly.
The Fox and the Hound. 1981's The Fox and the Hound follows the exploits of the titular young red fox, Todd, as he grows into adulthood and tries to make a life for himself in the forest. At one point, he encounters the female fox Vixie for the first time, and soon after meeting her, which was initially disastrous after he failed to catch a fish to impress her, she begins to show him affection, which includes rubbing herself against him. Feeling the physical affection of a female for the first time seems to be too much for Todd, and if you pause the movie at just the right moment, it looks as though he's reached the point of pleasure unsuitable for young viewers.
Number 15, a hero is only as good as his weapon!
Hercules. Hercules is, of course, one of the most macho characters in fiction. That's kind of his shtick, after all. In his titular 1997 movie, he meets Meg after saving her from the giant centaur known as Nessus by defeating the beast with his phenomenal strength. But a few moments later, he doesn't look so macho. When he goes to see how Meg is, as she's cleaning her hair in some nearby water, he takes a hit to the face from her soaking locks when she turns around. Pause the scene at just the right moment, and you'll see Herc looking more like the sassiest diva in town than a super strong heroic warrior. Cinderella. 1950's Cinderella is one of the sweetest, most innocent, and quintessentially Disney movies that the company has ever produced. Nobody could ever take any scenes out of context from such a family-friendly Disney classic, right? Right? Wrong. In the scene in which the Grand Duke and the palace footman are peering over the balcony, pausing it at a certain point looks as though the pair are indulging in some male-on-male intimacy that is very unsuitable for children's eyes. With the Duke positioned behind, he certainly appears to be enjoying it. The footman, however, not so much. Aladdin. There are a lot of scenes in 1992's Aladdin in which the titular character is in motion, and when paused, performing some anatomically impossible poses. But this one takes the cake. The thief and street urchin turned hero is having one of his typical altercations with the palace guards, when one of the guards loses his pants. It's the scene in which he uses a fish as a makeshift pair of pants. Aladdin stretches whilst running, and the shape of his body basically looks like he's broken every bone he's got. Seriously, nobody can make their body stretch and twist like that.
All this for a loaf of bread?
The Emperor's New Groove. The Emperor's New Groove was a 2000 movie about the 18-year-old selfish, spoiled, and sarcastic titular emperor Cusco. The whole movie's plot is based around him learning to become a better person after being turned into a llama, and it's that scene we're referring to here. As Cusco's transformation takes place while he sat at a table with Yzma and Kronk, if you pause the movie at a certain point mid-transformation, you'll find that he looks like some animated characters from a completely different and far more adult franchise, a certain Beavis and Butthead. Beauty and the Beast. There may be a fantastic live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast coming out this year, but nobody can forget the wonderful 1991 animated version of the classic tale. As with all interpretations of the story, it featured the vain hunter Gaston, and his loyal yet often abused sidekick Le Fou. There's a scene in which Le Fou serenades Gaston with a song about how great he is, and it includes a moment in which Le Fou wraps a man's belt around Gaston's neck to demonstrate how thick and muscular it is. Unfortunately, when paused, there's a moment in which Gaston looks as though he's experimenting with a little BDSM. Frozen. When Anna and Hans first meet in 2013's Frozen, Hans and his horse inadvertently knock Anna into a boat.
Hey!
Their subsequent interactions are extremely awkward, both physically and verbally, and this results in a scene that looks a little non-PG, let's say, when it's paused. Anna falls on top of Hans, and if you pause it at just the right or wrong frame, depending on how you look at it, it looks like Anna is lost in a moment of physical ecstasy, while Hans looks as though he's embarrassed that his participation in the encounter has just come to a premature end. Thanks for watching our video about 10 paused Disney moments they don't want you to know about. Can you think of any other moments from movies that Disney wouldn't want you to pause? And the answer to the movie emoji is... Did you get the right answer? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Screen Rant for more fun videos like this one.